One startup that we are particularly proud of is Kapsule from Rwanda and the UK. David Chen, the founder, is interviewed in the following video by my colleague Maria, and he's giving you some insights into his industry, into the African market, why China and Africa want to work more together, and where there are big opportunities for this industry and the market. He won in the ITEC competition roughly 140,000 US dollar, 1 million RMB, which is the biggest prize amount that I've seen so far from an African startup. And enjoy the interview and let us know what you think.
Hello, I am here with another third place winner from ITEC, and we're gonna find out more about what their company does. So why don't you start off by introducing yourself and your company?
Okay, thank you. I'm David Chen, one of the co-founders of Kapsule. I'm originally from the UK, as are my co-founders. We have built our business to be aggregating health data all across Africa to make it easier for entities that are interested in the African market. So that's whether you're a researcher or a company looking to sell products or understand how healthcare works in Africa, we are connecting those two together.
It seems that you really found a lot of opportunities here in China and the market specifically between Africa and China. So can you speak a little bit more about what opportunities you see there?
Yeah, so the first major opportunity is the amount of investing that China is doing into Africa. It's been covered around the world, and I think one thing that hasn't gotten as much attention is the development of the market itself. So actually understanding what people need and what they consume. Now, the challenge for companies that want to expand into Africa, particularly those who manufacture products, is that they don't really know where those customers are or how to get to them. So that's where our platform comes in and makes it super simple for someone to get a high-level overview, if that's what they want, or go very granular into where those people are so that they can be more effective once they do decide to invest.
That's so interesting. And can I ask a little bit more about your background before you started this company? How did you find this opportunity and what were you doing?
Yeah, so I originally started my career as a consultant working in the healthcare space. Academically, I was a geneticist, but the lab was a little bit too small for me. So I went into the commercial side of consulting, worked with several major pharmaceutical companies and helped them with market access and looked at the African market. I then went to work for a large tech company based out of Silicon Valley, which was an enterprise software looking at legal technology. So I learned how to take big complex problems and solve them in a way that big companies can adopt the technology. And then once we founded Kapsule, we decided to put those two expertise together. So understanding healthcare, data, and the African market, and then also understanding how large companies think and operate when they're looking for opportunities. So that's what led us into.
What is the biggest opportunity in your industry specifically that you're seeing, either globally or within China?
Yeah, so it's been very much covered in the press recently about how the US is pulling back from their investments into global health, particularly health in Africa. And the major thing is the cutting of funding. Now, we see this as a huge opportunity because the people are still there. They still need medicine. They need people who are responding to the need. So it's really an opportunity for the private sector to really develop and take up that burden, which was handled by the large donors in the past. That's where I see a huge opportunity, and it's ripe for that innovation. The young population, young demographics, and people who are really embracing technology is a very great market to launch in.
I want to talk a little bit more about being a founder, your journey as a founder. Do you have any advice for founders out there that are thinking of starting something, thinking of global opportunity, thinking of all these things? Any advice, any things that you think that they should avoid, or anything that you wish you had known before you started this journey?
Yeah, it's a bit of a controversial piece of advice, but it is, don't listen to investors. They look at trends of yesterday rather than thinking about the trends of tomorrow. So while you can take their perspective into consideration, I think you as the innovator really need to know what is driving the technology change, what is the consumer really passionate about and cares about, and how can you drive adoption of your technology in that way. I think investors oftentimes just make heuristic biases based on a few successes in certain industries, and not all of the time the advice applies to your startup specifically.
Wow, you heard it here first, folks. Do not listen to your investor. That's very interesting advice. I hadn't heard that before. And last question for you. I know that you're currently starting to get settled in China as a company. So has there been any sources of support that have been really helpful to you, or sources of inspiration that have also been driving you in this journey?
Yeah, now I have to shout out founders Lair. They've been absolutely incredible when it comes to helping us even be pitch ready and probing into our business really to understand it. And the time that they took to understand each of our businesses has been critical. And then how we reframe our thinking from a global perspective to the Chinese perspective. And I think that is where many founders become unstuck, because you think about things in the Western way or the way of your origin country, and the way things operate in China is slightly different. And I think having someone who really understands those nuances and can translate that for you in a way that you can adjust how you communicate is super important. And then secondly, the introductions and the network which they fostered is incredible. So met many great founders in this, and I think they'll be lifelong friends as well. So I think that's also a huge benefit.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of ITEC.
All right, thank you so much.
If you enjoyed this video and the interview with David Chen and Kapsule, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and tune in for more founder interviews of startups that expand to China that were supported by Founders Lair. And hopefully we can help you also to succeed in the Chinese market and expand here. See you in the next video.